Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I am looking at the Tennessee Titans and determining who I think are the top 5 players on this current roster heading into the 2021 NFL season. But before getting to that topic, I want to hear from those of you viewing, especially the Titans fans out there. Comment down below who you guys think is the top 5 players on this roster. I understand things can change once the draft happens if the Titans get an absolute steal. But today, as of right now, just for a fun video, I want to hear what you guys think of the Titans and who their top 5 players are. And getting into it, for my opinion, one honorable mention before I go into my top 5 players is newly signed corner Janaoris Jenkins. Jackrabbit Jenkins, I was a big fan of him when he played in the New York Giants. I thought he'd be a good addition when he played with the Saints. And today, I think he'll be a good addition for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans team that lost a little bit in their secondary in this past year, releasing Malcolm Butler, losing Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson was a pretty big loss. He was an athletic corner, very young guy still, and had talent. Malcolm Butler, that's understandable. His name is kind of bigger than his play, but still, they needed some playmaker, some corner, some known name in that secondary that they could look up to. And Janaoris Jenkins, Jackrabbit Jenkins, is a guy that's looking to compete, looking to win. He's getting up there in age a little bit, but could still play at high performance. And I think under Mike Vrabel, they will do well. For him being such a newly signed addition, I'm going to hold him out of the top 5. And getting into number 5, you can kind of contradict my argument of him being such a new addition, him sitting out of the top 5. But I'm going to go with Bud Dupree at number 5, a new addition to this team. But reason he makes the list, and you can argue that he's even higher on this list, the reason I'm holding him back is because he's newly signed, but the reason he could become even higher on this list once the season actually starts is because of the type of money and type of reliance and responsibility they're giving this guy. They signed Bud Dupree to a pretty solid deal, pretty big deal, some big numbers in there, but it is for good reason. Titans, they did not have a great pass rush last year. A couple things didn't go their ways with injuries, especially their biggest signing being Jadeveon Clowney. He basically didn't even play or do anything for the Tennessee Titans, and they don't want that to happen again. Bud Dupree, at times with the Steelers, has had his injury issues as well, but it's nothing like Jadeveon Clowney. And this guy, Bud Dupree, when healthy, is a guy that will not only create some pass rush, but be a guy that can really become the captain and leader of this defense, and if not the entire defense, at least a front 7. He could direct them, he could lead them, he could captain them, and that is why the Titans are investing in him so much. They know it's not a guy that's just going to go out there and get some sacks, put some pressure on the quarterback. It is a guy that is going to make the team around him better, and therefore I think he easily deserves number 5 on this list. Titans are investing in him over a few more years. I'm holding him back to number 5 and not putting him at 1 through 4 because of the new addition. I haven't seen him play. I don't know if it'll click right away. I think it will, but who knows? The chemistry might not be there. But if things go well and they click like it's nothing, that we could see him rise on this list and be the best defensive player on this team. But moving on to number 4, I'm going to go with Pro Bowl safety at a time, Kevin Byard. He used to be the highest paid safety in the NFL, and he's still a great safety, probably top 5, top 10 at worst. But now that you got some Minkah Fitzpatrick, a Jamal Adams, a healthy Derwin James, Tyrann Matthews, Eddie Jacksons, young Jeremy Chin, there's some good safeties out there, and Kevin Byard holds his own with them. He's on the same par as them. I'm just saying, number 4 on this list suits him well. He's a top safety in the NFL. He used to at one point be the highest paid, and he is a guy, if Bud Dupree isn't leading this entire defense, it will be Kevin Byard if it is not already. But at the minimum, he is a guy that is going to lead this secondary. He led it for the most part when Malcolm Butler and Adoree Jackson were around, but now that those guys are gone and you've added, Janaoris Jenkins, and you still got Amani Hooker, there's still guys in there, but Kevin Byard, he's a proven guy, he's a paid guy, he is a guy that is going to lead this defense. Him and Bud Dupree, they're the star power of this defense. There's some depth along the way, like I've mentioned, between Janaoris Jenkins and Amani Hooker, but these are the guys that other teams and other offenses fear of, and Kevin Byard, I think he easily deserves to be on this list, and he jumps Bud Dupree because he already played with this defense, he's already led this defense, and he's a guy the Titans have already seen and proven to be on this team, and a great click that they can invest in. Bud Dupree, because I haven't seen him play, he is sitting behind Kevin Byard, but Kevin Byard has still got him as a top 7, top 8 safety in the NFL 100%. Number 3 is going to go to quarterback that really turned this Tennessee Titans around, Ryan Tannehill. He came in from the Miami Dolphins with Adam Gase in they thought he was going to be a backup. That's what he was signed to. But under Mike Vrabel, under an offense that he has some protection from, under a running back, a run game he can rely on, under good receivers, Ryan Tannehill was able to turn his career around, and I'm glad for him, and I'm happy for him. He's turned it around, took him to the playoffs, took him to an AFC championship. They went to the playoffs last year and fell short. Excuse me. But this team is still in contention when Ryan Tannehill is under center. I'm curious to see how this offense will go without a Jonnu Smith, without a Adam Humphries, without a Corey Davis for Ryan Tannehill to throw to. But he's not alone. He's got A.J. Brown, who's coming up on the list. He's got a newly signed Ram receiver, Josh Reynolds, and the draft is yet to come. I wouldn't be surprised if this Titans team goes receiver in the first round. Do I think they will? I don't know, but if they go, I'm not surprised. Maybe a guy that has high upside, like a Kadarius Toney out of Florida. I'm not sure, but I am curious if Ryan Tannehill's game will take a drop back because of him losing Corey Davis, Adam Humphries, Jonnu Smith. And I'm not trying to knock on Ryan Tannehill. It seems I'm kind of like neglecting him right now, but I still have him at number 3 on my list. He's probably a top 12, top 15 quarterback in the NFL. Titans fans, don't harp on me. You know I did not say he's in the top 10 because I don't think he's in the top 10, but that doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback that can't lead a team and can't be a quarterback that a team can't rely on. I'm a big fan of Ryan Tannehill. I'm somewhat of a Miami Dolphin fan. I really liked him a lot when he was there, and I thought he just needed a break, and with the Titans, he got one. Excuse me, I'm a little sick, but the talent is there, the leadership is there. I'm just curious to see. Maybe he's going to prove us wrong and play even better, but losing an athletic tight end and an emerging Corey Davis, I don't know how it'll go, but like I said, the draft is here to come for him to get more receivers. Sorry, again. Number 2 on the list, so is going to go to newly top 10 receiver, A.J. Brown. The dude is a monster right now. He's came in the same draft class as DK Metcalf, yet he was kind of a little bit overlooked, and now he's putting up DK-type numbers. He's being compared to DK Metcalf, and the dude is an absolute freak. Like I said, he is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. The dude's a monster, and A.J. Brown's the reason a Tennessee Titans let a Jonnu Smith walk, let a Corey Davis walk, because they know A.J. Brown is our brand new bread and butter of this offense, a brand new bread and butter of this receiving core, and he can fight to be a top 5, top 6, top 7 receiver in the NFL. He's not there yet, but a couple more reps on his belt, a couple more years in the NFL, and this guy will get there. He's not even in his prime yet. He's just now learning the game. And in an offense that is run-centric, because we know Derrick Henry is the bread and butter of that offense. I keep saying that reference a lot, excuse me. But A.J. Brown is still shining in an offense that is run-centric, and that says something to you. When you run first and pass second, yet your passing game is still noticeable because of a great quarterback-wide receiver duo. I'd say underrated quarterback-wide receiver duo, in my opinion, honestly, between Tannehill and A.J. Brown. But the fact that we can still notice it in this insane run-centric offense of a Derrick Henry went for 2,000 yards, if it's not obvious, he's number 1 on the list. But back to A.J. Brown, the dude's a monster. I think he's only going to get better. And if the Titans make a playoff push next year, I don't think Derrick Henry will obviously be a factor, but A.J. Brown, he's going to be carrying a big load this year and putting a lot of the team on his back after this receiving core lost a decent amount of talent. Corey Davis, guy that's an up-and-comer, Jonnu Smith. He's not the greatest tight end, but he's sure as hell athletic and a good target for Ryan Tannehill. Adam Humphries had his injuries, and they kind of chose to release him, but still good hands when healthy. But either way, no matter how much you want to critique the receivers they lost, A.J. Brown has to pick up some of the slack that the Titans aren't helping him out with, and I think he could do it. And the fact that he's a top 10 receiver shows if he's a top 10 amongst all 32 teams, he's going to be a top guy on his own team. But it's not obvious enough, like I said. Number 1 is going to go to Derrick Henry. When you're the number 1 running back in the NFL, you're probably going to earn the number 1 spot when it comes to talent-wise on your own team. There's debate out there. He might not be number 1. Maybe a healthy Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Saquon Barkley, a Dalvin Cook. Excuse me, damn. The argument is out there, but for me, Derrick Henry is looking like the number 1 guy right now to be between him and Christian McCaffrey. But outside of that fact, he easily deserves number 1 on this list. He just ran for 2,000 yards. There's only been 7 or 8 other running backs to do that. The fact that he didn't win MVP, I don't want to say is crazy because Rodgers had a hell of a year too, but it's insane for a running back to run 2,000 yards and still not win MVP. He's the reason they made the playoffs, and unfortunately, when they got to the playoffs, Derrick Henry kind of wasn't a factor. He looked tired. He looked exhausted. And without Derrick Henry, the Titans have no offense. I don't want to say none, but takes a big part of their game away, and therefore we saw them lose to the Ravens. But Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown can't put the team on his back. We know Derrick Henry can, and he's going to possibly lead this team to the playoffs again. I'm not sure if I have the Titans making the playoffs the next year, but if they do make it, it will be because of Derrick Henry. Didn't give him a huge explanation by why he's number one on this list, but I think it's pretty well understood how good he is in the NFL and how it would transfer over to how you rank his team. But to reiterate the list, I got Janaoris Jenkins being a good honorable mention that I'm a fan of. Might be a little bit of biasness in that mention, but I love the dude and I think he's a great player. And then number 5, the new addition of Bud Dupree. Number 4, pretty good safety in Kevin Byard. Then number 3, Ryan Tannehill. Number 2, A.J. Brown. And number 1, Derrick Henry. Guys, thanks for watching. Again, comment down below what you think of my list. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Whatever your thoughts are, comment down below. And of course, give me your list as well. I want to hear from you guys. I'll apply and see what you guys think. And of course, comment down below, like I mentioned earlier, the NFL draft for the Titans. It's less than a week away. Who do you want to see the Titans draft in the first round? Do you want to see them go O-line, D-line, receiver, whoever it may be? Comment down below. I want to hear from Titans fans what you want to see your team go after in the first round of this draft. I'm excited for the draft, and I'm thankful for those of you watching. We truly appreciate it, guys. We love you guys. 2MinuteWarning.